Alrighty, guys. Somebody had sent me this video. It's called How the 8 Passengers Family Channel Fell Apart. I don't know too much about it, but they are curious about my perspective on this topic because I'm such a smarty pants. So thank you so much for the 3-month sub, Mr. Sign 12. Thank you.
What if I took my hand and I hit you? I'm only a...
What? What? How did we started off too strong? So lighten the mood. Oh my God.
What if I took my hand?
No!
And hit you? I'm
Don't
only
do that.
One more time, you're gonna lose the privilege to eat dinner.
No, you can't do that. Okay, so here's the thing: you can threaten to lose the privilege of eating dinner, but you can't actually not let a kid eat. That is an illegal thing to do.
7 months.
But kids don't know
He
that.
has asked that we not show his face.
This is sensitive topics. Okay.
Said love everyone, treat them kindly too. When your heart
I like the song. It's a banger.
Taking away a child's bed for 7 months.
My bedroom was taken away for 7 months and give it back like a couple weeks ago.
Well, what does that mean by bed? Because you showed a bed. So if they took the bed, I have to find the con. I know that sounds silly, but like, did they take away the box spring? Because when I was younger, I don't know if you guys knew this, but I was fat, and I was also a typical boy. And what that means is that typical boys, they don't sit on their bed; they jump onto their bed like animals. And I broke my box spring, so I had a mattress on the floor for a while, which was fine because I kept breaking things. And my mom was like, "I can't pay for this." So I was like, okay. And I think it was fine with me. I don't care.
I don't think our viewers know that.
Making a child cry by brandishing scissors and threatening to cut off the head of one of their stuffed
That's
animals.
horrible.
If you cut one more thing in my house, I'm going to take the scissors, look at me, and I'm going to cut its head off.
Well, if the kid's running around cutting things, like cutting up things, I mean, like, whatever. Okay.
Because I'm going to be so mad.
He slept in a beanbag chair? That's a little
These
weird.
are just some of the things that Ruby Frank of the 8 Passengers Family Channel has filmed herself doing on the 8 Passengers channel.
I'm
8
only going to say it
passengers.
one more time.
How many
and
kids
then
do they have?
You're
8?
going to lose the privilege to eat dinner.
Damn. Bites child's ear. That just looked like silly, but okay.
And yet, Ruby Frank
Films
sees
child's
nothing
ripped
wrong with the
pants.
way she films and posts her parenting methods.
I have made my content around my children for years,
Yeah.
and my children are getting older.
That part I think is like, I think that like doing some kind of family content is just such a, it's so, I feel like it's just so, I don't know. I wouldn't say it's inherently inappropriate, but I feel like it can get there really fast. I think that the worst part for a kid really could be just like social media is so toxic already for people who don't make content. And if they end up having a bad relationship with the content, like if you look at the likes and the views and stuff, that'll really mess a kid up, man. It messes adults up when they don't get like likes and views or something. I don't know. And like not everybody can really handle all that public attention. If you keep the kids away from that, that's fine. I also think that there's a huge problem if you create scenarios like I don't know. It's one thing to like record your child being silly and having fun. It's another thing to like create a scenario forcing your kid to have fun. Does that make sense? Where it becomes performative and I think it's dangerous to have a kid potentially view the world through social media. You know, I don't think that parents are bad for it. We're in like the new age where people don't like necessarily know all the negatives. But I don't know, man. When I have kids, I don't know how much I'm going to show my kids in my content.
Before you know it, in a handful of years, all of my children will be gone. And I have a real powerful message.
And has even gone on to lecture others on how to properly parent.
I have grown in wisdom, I've learned, I have shifted and changed, and I have so much to offer other moms.
For the last 7 years,
Okay.
Ruby and her husband Kevin, alongside their 6 children, Sherry, Chad, Abby, Julie, Russell, and Eve, have been the stars of the 8 Passengers Family Channel, which was once one of the most popular family channels and now one of the most controversial. The YouTube channel has
Can't
been
be worse than
clicked on
Daddy of
more
5,
than
huh?
1 billion times and shows the Franks' daily lives, sometimes mundane and sometimes dramatic.
Russell, it's okay. What happened? It's okay.
What's
Everyone's
happening
safe.
right now?
It's okay.
The channel has attracted millions of subscribers, garnering the Frank family lots of YouTube ad revenue. The fans see the channel as a way to peek into the lives of a loving, devoutly Mormon family as they deal with common health.
See, no offense, that's the biggest red flag to me. I'm not trying to be rude, but I'm down with religion. I'm a Roman Catholic. I was born and raised, and I believe in God. And You know, I like to believe that there's a God. You know, I feel like some of the scripture might have been used to make other people more powerful. But the point is here, the point that I'm trying to make here is that I feel like I'm a little apprehensive about very devout religious families because I don't know, man. I feel like that could lead to some inappropriate stuff, but hey,
household issues like forgotten lunches or sibling rivalry. But to many people on YouTube, the channel has a much darker side. To their critics, Ruby and Kevin Frank are abusive to their kids, hungry for fame, shameless in the exploitation of their children, and overall grotesque examples of bad parenting.
But a lot of these clips are concerning because it revolves around your child not being able to eat and not being able to be provided food.
The 8 Passengers YouTube channel is a family channel. They would record the kids when the kids didn't want to be on camera. They would remove their kids.
You know, it's possible that these parents are bad people. It's also possible that, like a lot of other things on social media, people take it a little too far. Well, we'll find out. You know,
beds and make them sleep on the floor as punishment, and even sent one of their kids to like a behavioral wilderness camp to make him behave better.
So what are?
Well, I mean, like a behavioral wilderness camp. I mean, like, I don't know how effective that would be, especially if it's more religious focus, but like getting behavioral support isn't fundamentally a bad thing. That's why we have these things called behavioral specialists. And I don't know if you knew this, but my wife is bingo.
Are the parents of the 8 Passengers family channel guilty of? Well, that's for you to decide yourself.
Not really, but we'll find out. Oh, fuck.
Hello,
Okay.
friends and internet acquaintances.
We just met, relax.
Welcome back to another video on my channel covering internet controversies and people who have gone too far on social media. So if you like that kind of thing, then definitely subscribe if you want to. And if you like this video, give it a like if you want to. If you're wondering why my voice in this video sounds incredibly sexy, but I look
Okay.
a little bit more like death than usual, it's because
I'm not saying it doesn't.
sick.
I'm just
I mean,
jarring.
I'm
that,
sick
well, I
of
don't think
family
it, well,
channels,
whatever.
but
Okay.
also just sick
Never
in
mind.
general. But life
That just
happens,
threw me off.
and you know, nothing's gonna stop me from continuing to live, laugh, love. So here we are. And in today's video, we're talking about the controversies of the 8 Passengers family channel and how that family channel completely fell apart and where they are today. There's a lot of people who are very concerned for the children of 8 Passengers because the children of the 8 Passengers family channel have had their most intimate and private moments filmed and posted online. They've
that
had
could be a
zero
problem.
boundaries in their
That's the thing, is that like I think that that's a problem, the boundary issue for sure. The problem is that I'm trying to express it in the way. I think that it's a good idea to split everything up when we talk about topics into 2 categories, and that is action and that is intent. I don't think that we should. I don't even think that we could debate whether you should. Well, you should create boundaries. We could debate on like how much is too much for sure, but ultimately, like we need to make sure we maintain particular boundaries. The problem is the intentionality more than anything. So let's say we see a parent that's putting their kids on social media too much. They're making too much of their lives about attention, and there's too many eyeballs on them, which is messed up because like when you, especially like embarrassing, like imagine you make a mistake, which you're going to do. I was like a rambunctious child. I made a lot of mistakes. Imagine my mom filmed and put it on the internet. That's embarrassing. That's lifelong like insanity. You know, it's like an additional layer to it's an additional layer to any potential like, you know, punishment that you've had. But the intentionality behind it, like, are they trying to add that additional layer to embarrass their kids, or is this something that's like very new, being like social media famous, and like these parents don't know how to set proper boundaries? You know, that's what I think. That's where we're really determining. The behavior is going to be bad regardless. I don't think that like the behavior overall is going to be like good behavior, but it's like that intentionality behind that behavior, I think, is going to be more like what's on discussion or anything. And I think sometimes in social media, people will assign a very negative intentionality to everything that everybody does in a way that I don't think is necessarily good. I think it can be a little dishonest sometimes, or oftentimes. And a lot of times they will assign the most negative interpretation of any event. It feels like it's on purpose to sensationalize a story sometimes, and that's obviously problematic.
life. Zero privacy.
Julie has asked that we not show her face. Do you want to tell us what happened?
Well, I wouldn't have recorded the kid at
I
all.
may have already explained it. Her face looks very sore on one side of her
Did
face.
she get like
It
hit in the
looks
face?
Pretty rough.
Jesus.
Pretty swollen.
All their childhood
Oh my God.
moments, whether embarrassing or special, have been blasted publicly.
She's
Yeah,
like,
it's not
Mom, I
something
peed the bed,
good.
which is
Oh my God.
not like her. She pees the bed maybe like once every
Jesus
8
Christ.
months.
See through this. Please don't look.
Is it cozy?
Yeah, you really shouldn't be doing that. It's just
And
going to
worst
embarrass
of
your
all,
kid.
their parents have been monetizing all of these moments.
And I'm telling you, I was making
millions.
Wow.
And I
You should have saved
The
it.
story of the 8 Passengers Family Channel is, like
Money-
so
money
many
runs
other
people,
family
bro.
channels out there, not only a tragic story, but an incredibly large warning sign. Because this stuff is going to
Sounds
continue
about right.
happening if more safeguards aren't put in place for family channels. And the real question throughout this entire story is, do children have the ability and the right to consent to being filmed and posted for monetary gain on social media?
Yeah, I think fundamentally, for the most part, a child's consent is on like the parents. You know, when it's not for everything, obviously not for sex. That's gross. I think it depends on how you do it, right? Like if you basically have like a little family channel that's like a little vlog. Okay, my wife was talking about doing a vlog herself potentially, and she talked about a content creator named Chris Clemens, and the way she explained it to me was that Chris Clemens does vlogging content, but it's more about, hey, look what we're doing, rather than like, hey, experience what we're doing. I know it sounds so weird, but there's a difference between like if I went to the gym today and I like made a video like we're at the gym and I waved and like, you know, maybe you saw me bench press very little weight, versus if I left the camera on the entire time and I was trying to give you like a play-by-play. There's nothing inherently wrong with me doing that because I'm an adult, but it's like how intimate is the content? And I think that there's a boundary of intimacy that could be crossed. So there's a difference between like, oh, I took my kid to Disneyland and here's my kid getting onto the Dumbo ride. It's like, oh, that's cool. Versus like, let's run around the park, do things in a particular order and fashion. And, I'm going to try to have you fake interactions. And like, that's a huge part. That's a problem. Like faking interactions, like, oh, pretend to be happy, pretend to be this. It's hard to figure out the exact line, like where the line is, but I think it's okay for kids to be on social media with their parents, but there has to be like pretty big boundaries of not creating terminally online behavior for your kid, right? So that's what I would say, fundamentally speaking.
I'd love to know what you think about that question after hearing the story of 8 Passengers.
Why do I keep fucking deflect things? This is so annoying.
The 8 Passengers Family Channel started out with Ruby, the mother, filming pretty mundane and basic videos. One of the first 8 Passengers videos was their youngest daughter Eve's gender reveal party.
Okay. Well, how did we not already know the
Frank's
kid's
youngest
gender?
daughter has spent her entire life growing up under a camera, with millions witnessing her every developmental milestone. But even before Eve's birth, the couple Ruby and Frank were filming and uploading random videos from their life to YouTube. Ruby and Frank, who met in college in Utah and married in the year 2000, have been sporadically posting videos since at least 2012, when they taped themselves at a rally supporting fast food chain Chick-fil-A's anti-gay marriage crusade.
Okay, this is
Oh man, well that's already a cancelable offense on the internet, guys. Why was it anti-gay?
us waiting in line to eat at Chick-fil-A because we're supporting marriage between man and woman.
And for the most
Okay,
part,
see, they're
Ruby
just
has
dumb,
always
okay.
been the one running the show. Kevin, her spouse, plays more of a supporting role in the vlogs and mainly focuses on his job as a professor of civil engineering at Brigham Young University. In the early years, and also, let's be real, kind of in general, Ruby's vlogs are a little rough around the edges.
Hey, that's what you gotta do,
Before you
baby.
think this is picture perfect, we had a hook go in Eve's finger and untangle them with each side.
Especially
What the
in
hell's
the early
happening?
years, it seemed like Ruby was just collecting home videos and posting them online, not
Yeah,
really
nothing
thinking
wrong
or
with that.
maybe considering that people were watching them, even though she was making these videos public to the entire world.
Let's take your temperature. Do you know what that number says?
I don't.
It says 100.7.
Damn.
Yes?
But like many
Okay.
family channels out there, people loved watching the adorable children of the 8 Passengers. Like I've said before, children have this certain likability when it comes to social media because they're not really aware of what social media is. So they're more of their authentic selves when they're being filmed. And of course, children are adorable and cute. Does that
Sure.
mean that we should post tons of videos of children online for the entire world to see? In my opinion, no. But because Ruby's children had an adorable charisma about them, the channel gained a small group of devoted followers. And before long, Ruby was posting 3 to 4 videos a week of her children's daily lives. By 2019, the channel was nearing 1 million subscribers. And the Franks received tons of sponsorship opportunities.
So far, nothing too bad. I mean, the whole like not like gay people. Obviously, I love gay people, but outside of that, like I don't. So far, not such a big deal.
They were well on their way to becoming one of the most
How high is
successful family
103.1?
vlog
Is that
channels
too
on
high?
YouTube. But
Do
this
you wait?
success didn't last.
If she's that high, wouldn't you go to the hospital? Wait, was it 107? There's no. I thought it was 103. That's really high. Don't you bring your kid to the hospital for anything over 100? Maybe that's a problem. I think that's true. I could be wrong, but okay.
Last too long,
We should
as
put it in
really
an oven or
negative
something.
and concerning clips that Ruby had posted began to resurface on
All right,
YouTube.
let's see what we
And
got
people
here.
started creating entire compilations of some of the really
Compilations? Fuck, I
concerning
don't
and
like those.
strange ways that Ruby would parent and discipline her children, all
Okay.
while filming this and uploading them onto YouTube.
What if I took my hand and I hit you like that? Would that be crossing the boundary?
Yeah, it would be. That's
Yeah.
not nice.
I have
all
a
right.
really, really good reason for just getting in your boundary.
I don't like that. I don't like it. Here's the thing, because I'm not an anti-spanking kind of guy. My wife is more than anything else, so I probably am not going to spank my kids. There's more effective ways to communicate. I understand spanking on the butt and stuff, but like I feel like hitting of the body and stuff, that's way too much. Like I don't know, and I know you might like not see a difference, but there's something about spanking on the butt which is like meant to be. I don't know. I just feel like it's different. I feel like the spanking on the butt's like, kind of like meant to be like a little bit of a punishment in an area there, like you can kind of take a spanking, and it's just to communicate you did a bad thing. But like asking, oh, what if I just hit you in the body? It just comes off as like really gross. I don't like that. You know what I mean?
I think the thing that really blows my mind with what Ruby filmed and posted isn't just her methodology of parenting, but also the lack of concern for
Like, is there context there? Are they just horsing around maybe, or
giving her children any privacy.
Everything that comes into this house belongs to her. Belongs to me.
Okay, that's fine. That's
I'm not
true.
gonna let you go. I thought you
My mom used to say that. Who gives a shit? If it's over 102, you're supposed to bring your kid to the hospital.
just didn't want to go, but like if it's gonna make you cry.
The things she
Yeah, a
was
little
willing
harsh,
to
but
post
whatever.
and share about her children just to me feels incredibly disrespectful.
I think that like some of the punishments aren't that bad, but like we shouldn't be privy to your disciplinary actions. Well, maybe we should be to protect your child. But like not everybody's going to approve of everything. So some parents are more strict, but like you don't have to broadcast it, which is where she's going to get into a problem. Yeah.
Like, if this is what she's filming and posting online publicly, what is she doing behind the scenes?
I understand what this person's saying. That does make sense. Like if they're so willing to show this in public, then what are they hiding? That's possible. It's also possible that she's oversharing and overly honest, where it's like that is probably, I'm more likely like she's just showing us everything, which is dumb and inappropriate. But I don't think, the possible, I just feel like that might be a little bit of reach. I don't think that there's necessarily anything going on. There might be. I'm just saying. It's one of those two things. Either there is something she's hiding or there simply isn't. She's, you know what I mean?
That is the question that
I know
comes
it's very
to
basic,
mind
but
for me personally. So
I'll be
here
careful
are
of
some
overly
of the most
speculating.
concerning things that Ruby posted that caused the 8 Passengers family channel to get into a lot of controversy. The first major 8 Passengers scandal broke out at the height of the channel's success. Ruby was filming herself sitting in her car and responding to a text message from Eve's kindergarten teacher, who was very concerned about the fact that Eve had been sent to school with no lunch.
I just got a text message from Eve's teacher, and she said that Eve did not pack a lunch today, and can I bring a lunch over to the school? This happens quite often when you're raising children, because I know that her teacher is uncomfortable with her being hungry and not having a lunch, and it would ease her discomfort if I came to the school with lunch. But I responded and just said, Eve is responsible for making her lunches in the morning, and she actually told me she did pack a lunch. So the natural outcome is she's just going to need to be hungry. And hopefully nobody gives her food and nobody steps in and gives her a lunch.
Obviously,
This isn't that big of a deal, honestly. This is what I'm hearing here. I set chores for my kids because just to make them responsible. It's one of her responsibilities to pack her own lunch. It's very clear the mom provides the food to pack, and she simply didn't provide the food. So today she's going to be hungry. She's not going to die, but the concept is that tomorrow the daughter packs the lunch. That's it. Is she 4? I guess. Maybe is that what it is? I think fundamentally that's fine. She's probably, maybe if your argument said she's not old enough to be capable, she's going to let her kid not eat. I don't think that she'll die. I'm just saying, I get the concept. If her kid's capable of making lunch and she didn't want to make the lunch, then whatever. I don't know. Maybe the kid ate the lunch. I have no idea. No, she's a little kid. Okay. Hey, listen. I'm just saying, I don't necessarily disagree fundamentally with it. If you guys are saying that she's too young, maybe you're right. I don't really know how capable a 4-year-old is. I also don't think it's that hard to pack it. You think it's a little kid? All right, my wife's disagreeing with me. I don't know. If the kid's capable, I don't give a shit. Well, don't worry, guys. My wife won't let me do that. I don't know. Why is 4? I'm just generally curious. Why is 4 too young? Like, if you're old enough to talk, like, you'd pack your lunch. What do you got to do? Throw a fucking sandwich in the bag? You know, throw a Lunchable in the box? All right, maybe you guys are shitting on my wife's disagreeing with me. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm just saying, okay, maybe I'm just wrong.
This would
I don't
concern
know.
any caring person watching, as Ruby is ignoring the concerns of a teacher.
I guess if
saying,
they're 4.
Hey, your daughter is not eating today. And also saying that
Wait.
Did and just Eve's your have pack a lunch from Eve's teacher.
With no lunch. Kindergarten teacher who was very concerned about the fact
As a
that Eve had
kindergarten
been
teacher.
sent to school with no lunch.
I just got a text message from Eve's teacher, and she said that Eve did not pack a lunch today, and can I bring a lunch over to the school?
Okay. Yeah, maybe the kid's too young. How do we know it's a kindergarten teacher?
This happens quite often.
Okay. All right. Hey, maybe I might just be wrong.
Gives her at least, hey, your daughter is not a person.
He steps in and gives her a lunch.
I mean,
Okay.
obviously, this would concern any caring person watching, as Ruby is ignoring the concerns.
Hey, listen. If I had the 4-year-old, okay, I don't know how capable children are at anything, okay? I don't respect kids, okay? So imagine if the kid isn't capable, she should be doing it. I don't really know because I don't have kids, but you guys have kids, and there's a bunch of women here yelling at me, so I'm probably wrong about this take here, okay? And my wife's even disagree with me, so I mean, the Papa versus the world right now. But okay. Yeah, I guess especially if there's a habit of your kid not packing a lunch, then maybe there's a problem. Okay.
The teacher who's saying, hey, your daughter is
I mean, I guess you could pack the lunch with the kid if you want to teach them that responsibility. Yeah.
not eating today. And also saying that she hopes that no one gives her daughter any food. It seems extremely harsh and an odd thing
It's a
to
little
be
harsh.
so strict on. At least to me personally, I'm a big believer that adequate nutrition
Listen,
at a young
listen.
age
In my
is-
defense, well, sorry about this. Adequate nutrition is very important. It's going to immensely impact your kid's development. In my defense, well, my mom never made me pack my own lunch, but I was raised very strict, okay, because I have ADHD, and it was very necessary to raise me very strict. Okay, so just let us say
so essential for the building blocks of your health. So people were just really upset and concerned by this clip.
So during this first part, Ruby flat out says that this happens often where her kids don't have a lunch and teachers call to ask her to bring one in for them
killer
because
doll.
they don't want their students going hungry, obviously.
Sure, yeah.
Because also, statistically speaking, it does have an effect on how they learn. But
Well,
you know,
that's true,
apparently
yeah.
a tiny child is responsible for making and bringing her own lunch to school every day. And Ruby really had to add that she hopes that nobody gives her kid any food and that her kid basically goes hungry throughout the day. Which leads me to wonder where I'm supposed to begin with this because it's not good. First of all, why are you relying on an elementary school student to make and pack their own lunch every day?
Then, not long after Eve's lunch debacle, if you want to call it that, I guess, the Franks threw more gasoline to the fire when they
That makes me feel like if they're willing to admit that this thing that, you know, all the parents in my chat are saying is a very bad thing, then that just leads me to believe that they are actually like would be this dumb. And they're just showing off, like they're just showing their entire world. You know what I mean? There's probably nothing hiding because I mean, she's probably just an idiot.
posted a sit-down video in 2019 about the
Okay.
absence of their oldest son. They said he had been expelled from school.
Oh,
the
absence.
reasons
I thought you
why
meant
were
he died.
never fully
Okay.
revealed. And as punishment, they sent him to 10 weeks at the Anasazi Foundation Wilderness Therapy Program, an
Okay.
outdoor intervention camp that, according to its website, was designed to help 13 to 17-year-old troubled youth, as well as young adults up to 25, with depression, substance abuse, and other emotional or behavioral concerns.
This is a chance for like a reset, like a
Is there anything wrong with
start
this,
over, like
though?
A do-over, like a fresh beginning.
Yeah. So the idea is with wilderness therapy is if you can survive with these peers in the wilderness with nothing
I wanna
more
give her a
than clothes
donation.
on your back and a couple of field supplies, then there's nothing in this world that you can't tackle.
So listen, I don't see I'm a fucking Eagle Scout, so that doesn't really sound like a big deal to me. I don't see a huge problem with what they're doing. It might be a little harsh. I think it's well intentioned. If there is a problem with it, the problem would be the institution itself, more than anything else, possibly leading them in the wrong direction. So you could probably criticize that, but overall, like whatever.
Maybe if your child is acting out enough to get
You know, they might be like horrible places, but like parents don't know that, so it comes down to like action versus intention. You know what I mean?
you should examine your
8 weeks is
parenting
a lot,
methods
though.
and the fact that you're shoving a camera in your child's face
Yeah, that's
24/7
true. This is a good point
and
she's making.
posting embarrassing moments of them online. I mean, I feel like that would make any child act out. Maybe
Oh,
just
maybe.
me, though. I'm not a child psychologist. But Ruby and Kevin
Or
stood
it might be they might have unrelated like, behavioral problems too. Oh.
by, even though their child got expelled. Sorry, I'm laughing, but just like, come on, come on. But even though Ruby and Kevin's child got expelled and was dealing with these behavioral issues, they stood by their incredible parenting method.
So you're probably wondering, what did Chad do? Okay, we're not even going to entertain that stuff, but it's an accumulation of things over years, well before we ever started YouTubing or well before we ever got on the social
They always
media.
YouTube?
And it's reached a point where Chad needs to develop some very basic maturity and skills that he's going to need as an adult.
When Chad was finally sprung from Anasazi, I'm sorry, I'm laughing, it's not funny, I just sprung from him. There was a mainly positive reunion episode.
That's weird.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh. I don't know if I'd be able to leave my kid for 8 weeks though. That's like crazy. Like I could do a week, but damn, 8 weeks, that's nuts. Or maybe if I hate the kid, if I hate my kid enough, I could leave him for 8 weeks. Maybe, I don't know. But maybe he's having really bad behaviors. I don't know. The real question is, was he having like really bad behaviors? I mean, I know he like was absent from school or whatever, or were they just considered bad behaviors to the parents because they're fucking weird? I don't know. Damn.
But this
Like a TLC
positivity in
special.
the
It's
family
weird.
would not last for very long. In general, the audience started finding clips showing that Ruby treated Chad a little bit differently than the other children in the family.
So every
Was
Tuesday,
Chad
the
older?
alumni services come out to take pictures of you and send them to your parents. And every single time the alumni services would come out, they would say, people keep calling the office saying free Chad. They get constant calls to the alumni service. And people are
Probably because
telling
they're
them
social
that-
media famous.
And worst of all, about a month later, after Chad got back from this wilderness therapy program, he landed in hot water again after pranking his younger brother Russell by waking him up in the middle of the night and telling him the family was going to Disneyland. I mean,
Well, that's mean.
I feel like it's kind of an adorable prank, like
It's
kind of funny.
mean as fuck.
Sorry, I mean, but because he pranked his younger brother by saying that the family is going to Disneyland, Ruby decided that the adequate punishment would be to take away Chad's bed for 7 months.
My bedroom was taken away for 7 months and give it back like a couple weeks ago.
I don't think our viewers know that.
We're sleeping on a beanbag since October.
I can't believe he
That's-
survived this.
Wait, is he sleeping on a... I'm a little confused. Hold on. Okay, listen, because was incredibly disproportionate. Like, I could see punishing your kid, and I understand setting higher expectations because it sounds like it's their oldest son, especially in like a religious group. They're gonna do that kind of shit.
I can't believe he survived this.
But like, if they said a beanbag chair, that looks like just a mattress on the floor. I used to sleep in a mattress on the floor. And especially with their harsher parent techniques, if they're just not cleaning his room because they're trying to teach him responsibility, like whatever, I don't necessarily care. I don't know. If it's a mattress on the floor, I had a messy room and I had a mattress on the floor because I kept breaking my box spring. Although that seems like a pretty big disproportionate, but the fake prank would really upset the kids. Maybe, I don't know. What do you mean, bro? What? That doesn't look that bad. I don't know. Like, what is it? It's a room. It's a messy room with a fucking mattress on the floor. I slept on a fucking mattress on the floor. If it was a fucking beanbag chair, that's horrible. Like, maybe if that's not his room, then I'm wrong. But there's also nothing else in there. That's actually a bigger problem. The bigger problem isn't even that, the mattress on the floor. The bigger problem is there's literally nothing in this kid's room. That's actually a really big problem to me. Like, not letting your kid have any level of like freedom of expression in your room. That's the scary part to me. Mattress on the floor, normal for me. The fucking but even in my room, like I had like my walls were painted and I had you have stuff in your room. So that's why I'm confused. But you have stuff in your room. That part's a little bizarre to me. Like, why wouldn't you have anything? Like, usually kids want to express themselves. So you had that. You want that for a kid. When the fuck did I say I want that? You guys interpret things like psychotic animals. What I said is that I had only a mattress on the floor because I broke my box spring like 4 times. So my mom was like, you're just going to sleep on the mattress. A mattress on the floor is fine. Like, you're not going to die. It's perfectly comfortable. It doesn't matter. Okay? That's not an issue. If he's sleeping in a beanbag chair, that's a problem. Okay? But the fact that there's nothing in the room is weird to me because I feel like kids are very expressive creatures that want to have stuff in their room and there's nothing there. Okay, I don't. But now this might just not be the room. I'm just confused why they showed this then, because that's not a beanbag on the floor. It says this is his room, so I guess he's just lying about what he's sleeping on. I don't know. Okay. I know you keep saying he slept on a beanbag chair. It says right here that's his room. In the fucking video. So he said the beanbag chair. It says that's his room. I'm gonna say that I maybe don't think that it was a beanbag chair. I don't know. Jesus Christ. Okay, I'm physically watching the screen and I'm seeing a discrepancy between what was said and what is happening. Okay,
it just feels like the punishment does not fit the crime.
That part I agree with as well.
I mean, people were
it's weird to take away a box spring
about this because
that part is
you're
true.
Having your 14-year-old child.
The box spring itself, not really an issue. Not having that is not an issue, but it is a weird punishment to take away a box spring for 7 months. Like that's not even like restrictive to me. It's a fucking box spring. You don't even need that on a bed. There's cultures that sleep on the fucking floor. Like who gives a shit? You know, I don't care.
Sleep without a bed for 7 months. So at this time, a lot more people started talking about the things that Ruby was posting on the 8 Passengers family channel, and stories questioning the 8 Passengers parenting started popping up in mainstream press as well. But the Franks tried to fight back, sending out cease and desist letters to many YouTubers who were criticizing them.
Numerous defamatory statements about my clients. By way of example, and without limitation, your videos falsely claim, among other things,
Among Us,
my clients are starving their children. The reason I said that was because you literally would not go and give your 5-year-old daughter lunch when Ruby's sitting at home all day and the daughter's at home. Oh, I forgot my lunch, Mom. Please, I'm so hungry. Ruby's like, great. I hope you stay hungry.
At first, the controversy was seemingly, in some ways, kind of great for business. The more people fumed, the more subscribers initially the Franks collected. At their height, the 8 Passengers family channel had 2.5 million followers. Nowadays, that number has dipped to 2.3 million followers. Damn. At its peak, 8 Passengers was pulling around 200,000 views a day, generating by some estimates $1,600 a day in advertising revenue, or over $500,000 a year. But by the spring of 2020, clicks finally started to slip as the heat continued to rise on the family, and nervous sponsors began to back away. Clorox, Norton, Sargento, Narwhal, and Ruggable all canceled their deals with.
Well, let me tell you something. They definitely need the Clorox after seeing that kid's room, so I don't know what the hell that's about.
8 Passengers. By some estimates, the sponsorship money that the 8 Passengers channel received has raked in about $2.5 million. From Ruby's point of view, the channel's backlash is a classic case of cancel culture run amok.
Very many people have accused me of exploiting my children. Now I am very aware of people online who hate me, who would like to cancel me, who would like to see me either burn in, as I've been told, or disappear off the face of the earth. And I'm not going anywhere.
I think that a lot of the downfall of the 8 Passengers family channel is because Ruby had no ability to take any accountability for where she may have gone wrong and try and make changes to her parenting methods, or at the very least, what she showed online and posted. Instead, it seemed like the more people that criticized her parenting methods, the further she would kind of dig into it and become more and more strict. And because of that, they eventually lost a lot of their fans and most of their sponsors. I always try and be cognizant of not judging someone's parenting based on snippets that they post online. But I have to say, for these family channels, you post so much of your parenting online that you really are leaving it up to the masses to judge and interpret your parenting how they choose to. And then you get mad at people for judging and interpreting your parenting when you are posting so much of that content online. I mean, what is anyone really supposed to do? And a lot of people just blatantly disagree with the way that 8 Passengers choose to parent. And I also think for a lot of the adults who watched and were horrified by 8 Passengers, it reminded them of really traumatizing parenting methods that they may have experienced, that they know didn't work for them and caused them trauma. So of course people are going to be concerned. In May of 2020, a change.org petition.
Yeah, that's possible. Well, that's one of the unfortunate parts too, is that like if they're using these methods on their kids, then they probably had these methods used on them too. Which doesn't justify like bad behavior, but it's like one of those things where like potential abuse is like cyclical, right? And you know, you kind of learn these different metrics from different people. And I honestly wouldn't see a religious family like that kind of look outside of religion for, you know, different practices. So, oh, Jesus Christ. So I wouldn't see them necessarily growing from their potential mistakes. Which, yeah, they have like really like bizarrely harsh like principles for dealing with their kids. Jesus Christ, dude, I'm getting my fucking tits turned.
petition was created demanding that Utah's Division of Child and Family Services investigate the Franks. It quickly drew more than 16,000 signatures, and other concerned audience members opted to call CPS directly. Meanwhile, these children have zero privacy on the 8 passengers' vlogs. The cameras seem to be shoved in the children's faces round the clock, and the children have made frequent pleas asking their parents to turn the cameras off.
Julie has asked that we not show her face. Do you want to tell us what happened? You know what mating is?
What? Mating?
You want to learn?
Mating?
Did I tell you?
Like sex?
It's one thing to film a cute dance sequence with your family, and it's a whole other thing for your children to be saying, please don't film me, as you're filming them talking about extremely sensitive and embarrassing.
Yeah, I mean, just in general, I think that like that, see, that's the proper conversation around like consent. People are like, oh, if my kid doesn't want to, if your kid doesn't want to hug grandma, you shouldn't force them to. That's your consent. Shut up. It's your fucking grandmother. This is more of a more applicable scenario where it's like, if your kid doesn't want to be recorded, don't record your kid, right? Like they should be able to establish that kind of a boundary.
Issues and posting it online. On camera, some of the older Frank children have complained that the show has left them bullied and friendless at school, and at times publicly humiliated.
No, I have no friends.
You can play with friends.
No, like I don't have friends.
And that's only what they've been willing to admit on the show, with their mom taping them. Ruby has said in vlogs that she doesn't think anxiety is real, or anxiety is a choice.
Anxiety, as horrible and debilitating as it feels, you still have choice, and that's one of the things that I am responsible for teaching my children.
In a clip that resurfaced on TikTok, when Ruby's daughter woke up and needed to go to the hospital because she was feeling extremely nauseous, Ruby filmed herself getting ready in the bathroom for the hospital.
Kevin just came in. He's like, I think we need to take Sherry to the emergency room. I said, well, let me take a shower and then I'll be out. It's been an hour, so.
And it seems like...
Jesus. That's not good. Your kid needed to go to the ER, and first of all, okay, if my kid said I need to go to the ER, we ain't showering, okay? We're going right off the bat. There's nothing stopping me. I'll shit my pants, you know what I mean? Okay, my mom had to go to the hospital the other day. Well, not the other day, like maybe a couple months ago. She had a really bad kidney stone. She knew it, but she needed like pain meds. Like they were bad. She fucking showed me after she pissed them out, bro. It's nuts. Like if they have to go to the ER, like that's a. I don't know if you guys knew this. It's called an emergency room. I don't know if anybody knows this. And what that means is that it's an emergency. It needs to be done now. That's the translation for that. It's not in English language. So I can see why the mother doesn't know that. Going into the bathroom and showering in the first place is very inappropriate to me right off the bat. Because if you're going to the ER, like you should really, you should be a little bit more, expedite that action. But then to like sit there and film and this, that, like, I mean, why? Why would you just take your kid to the fucking ER? Like, holy shit, It's just a shower. It's fucking weird. Like, holy fuck.
In general, Ruby is more concerned about appearing like a diligent mother than actually being one. Every problematic instance on the channel is from Ruby wanting to appear like an authoritative parent. And for Ruby, it's like every action has to be met with an extreme reaction. And Ruby has even threatened to take away food if they misbehave.
I'm only going to say it one more time.
That's an interesting point. That's something that's very interesting. Okay, so there was this mother who like cut her daughter's hair or something on social media because she misbehaved. And I remember making like the same point, was that it seems like there's people who are trying too hard to seem authoritative. Like I think that mother was, like the mother wasn't a bad mother, but she was trying too hard to seem like she was in control, where she ended up like doing something that's like publicly embarrassing for her kid, right? So that's one of the problems. It's like there's people on the internet that they really want to be seen as like that tough parent, like, oh, kids these days don't get parented well enough. I'm going to be the tough parent. I'm going to show you. I'm going to do this to my kid. And it's like they end up being so disproportionate just so that they can like prove like, oh, I'm a tough parent. Like, don't fuck with me, that this kind of shit happens. So yeah, I totally get that. Yeah, sure.
And then you're going to lose the privilege to eat dinner.
The same could be said about a December 22nd, 2021 video titled Christmas with No Presents, Live Couples Workshop. The video was uploaded on the channel Connection, an online workshop that provides parenting advice. There has been a lot of reports that Connection is very cult-like.
But straight up, the mom and dad have started a cult. I'm not even joking you. They have started a weird cult.
I have to say there's nothing quite like Connections out there. This is a place where you're going to get not advice, you're going to get principled feedback.
A lot of people have
sounds
said
like
that
advice.
connection is just bad news, including those within Ruby's own family circle.
The YouTube channel called Daru Crew Vlogs, which is actually run by Ruby's sister. And in the comments of their videos, they've been answering a lot of questions about Ruby and Kevin and why they no longer speak to the family. Does your family still have a relationship to Ruby and her family? I haven't seen her at any of your holiday festivities with all of your other family. Just
How did that
curious
even
if
hit
something
me?
happened. To which Julie, Ruby's sister, replied saying, Ruby has chosen to distance herself. Hopefully one day she'll come around. Then we've got another comment here saying, so sad to hear about Ruby distancing herself from the rest of the family, but honestly I'm not surprised. She is absolutely brainwashed with the Connections cult. Very scary, sending love to you. And Julie's actually liked that comment.
In the video Christmas with No Presents,
hate this
Ruby
weapon
talked about
so
how her
much.
2 youngest children had been showing long patterns of selfishness. Therefore,
does
they
that
would not
mean?
receive any physical gifts for Christmas that instead the gift of truth.
Kevin and I, we have 6 children. The 2 youngest are showing long patterns of selfishness.
I don't even. So this is the problem. Is that I don't know, man. Because like Christmas is such like a fucking like commercialized Western holiday. So like whatever. So like fundamentally, I don't know. Like you don't have to get your kids great gifts for Christmas, right? Like that's like a very like Westernized kind of a thing. But then on the other hand, like based on like other patterns that they've been doing, like it just seems like they're way too harsh. And it's like again, like it just comes off as like punishment porn. You know what I mean? Like, oh, I'm a fucking good mom. I'm gonna fucking overly punish my kid. I'm tough. Like, yeah, blah 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 blah. Like this is a fucking God of War game, and it's just like this pattern is like, I don't know, man. Like it just sounds like you're withholding. It doesn't sound like a harsh punishment. It sounds like you're withholding to a point of like, I don't know if I'd use the word abuse, but I might. I don't know. It seems a little disproportionate, brother. What are you doing? Like that's not right. You know, you don't do that. I guess Santa really is bringing them coal.
So Kevin and I have decided that we are going to give the gift of truth to them this year for Christmas. We're going to give them the gift of boundaries, and we're going to give them the gift of reflection.
That's ironic.
I mean, I'm not going to judge every single individual choice that someone has.
Dude, I'm getting my shit
but once
pushed. I
again, this
fucking
is
hate
just
this
so much
weapon.
information on their children's childhood that it feels definitely very invasive. Recently, in May of 2022, Ruby uploaded a meltdown to YouTube. Essentially, her 13-year-old daughter Julie came home from school and told her mother that her PE class would be doing a fun school job and performing a TikTok dance for the school. Ruby determined that this TikTok dance was far too inappropriate for Julie to be
Might be.
participating in, so Ruby went into the school and met with the assistant principal.
Okay.
She said,
I don't know.
she said in the fall semester and in the spring semester we need to have a performance. A flash mob is a great way to get it in. It's efficient. The kids love it. They have fun with it, and they are able to check off their performance or their grade. I said my problem is the choice of songs, and she says, well, all the songs were approved by me. You are not protecting them. You are not protecting them.
Well,
You are introducing them to.
I don't know what the song is, but like I think the parent has the right to say, I don't like this song. Okay. Like I don't really care about that. Fundamentally speaking. I'm gonna die. I'm gonna lose. I'm gonna cry.
World, and you're saying it's okay. You're saying that you support this. I didn't cry in there. I was very strong and sour.
I didn't cry in there. I just got on the internet and
In
cried.
part
What a
two
fucking
of
strong
this
woman, huh?
meltdown of sorts, Ruby storms out of the school, shaking and red-faced. Once she gets to the car, she starts screaming, sobbing, and verbally attacking the school officials she spoke with.
I am so upset.
Get him, sis. You know what I'm saying?
So angry. I can scream.
True Oscar, yeah.
So I went in and I had an appointment with the principal.
What'd you do? You
she
cried
had
him?
the
Sure.
assistant principal
Sorry.
who never responded to me like he said he would. And then I guess there's 2 assistant principals, so there was 3 of us. She invited me in. We sat down and she said,
fuck you, bitch.
Probably shaking all over the place with this video. Let's see if I can steady you.
In a later video, Ruby
Okay,
revealed
what'd she
she had
say?
taken the issue up with the school district board. Of
Okay,
course,
whatever.
parents can take issue with what's being shown to their children at school.
Yeah, like,
In many
whatever, I'm
ways,
okay
it's
with this.
natural to worry about your children being exposed to bad things at school.
Yeah,
but many
whatever.
found Ruby's concerns completely hypocritical. This
Why?
is the same woman who has documented her children's lives since they were babies. Every single
I think her issues seem to stem from the type of music. And again, you might think that she's sensitive. I don't really see an issue here. Like, I don't think that everything that she does has to be a bad thing for her to be doing bad things. You know, this just seems like she wants her fucking kid to not do the WAP or something. I don't fucking know what the song is. So like whatever, like how surprised are we if like a fucking religious person doesn't want somebody to sing to a song or whatever, whatever.
detail about her children, from birth to present day, is available publicly online for anyone to view, including print files and traffickers.
You got to stop that. That's where you start to lose people. So now just like, well, you have these videos on where pedophiles can look at them. Okay, pedophiles can look at fucking cooking videos too. I know what you mean. They might jerk off to the videos, but just the virtue of the existence of having your kid on the internet doesn't mean that you're fucking pedo baiting. Okay, that's like that. Like by this logic, your kids should not do any sport. They shouldn't go to school. They shouldn't go to a park because pedophiles might be there watching your kids fucking do like innocent behavior. So you should just keep your kid inside. Don't let them do anything. Completely socially fucking destroy them. And yeah, this is what this indicates. I don't like it. You were on a roll. You're on a roll convincing me, and I'm still pretty convinced. But now you're at a point where you're just taking it. You're running it too far. You're running it way too far. You're just running it too far, honestly. It was Apple Bottom News.
Are so detailed that many online viewers have figured out her address and the school her children attend. Not only that, but her daughters have public social media accounts. Accounts with photos of them in their swimsuits, photos where you can capture snapshots of their feet or edit.
What?
Accounts school her children attend. Not only that, but her daughters have public social media accounts. Accounts with photos of them in their swimsuits, photos where you can capture snapshots of their feet. Or edit them however you please.
The editing, you just shut up, you're being dumb. Okay, this is a problem, and it's a conversation about sexualization. First of all, there are swimsuits that are too sexualized for kids to wear. But not all swimsuits are too sexualized. I'm going to make an assumption and say that they're probably normal bathing suits because this woman is offended over a TikTok song. So now what you're doing is you're assigning sexualization to the mere existence of a child in a bathing suit. And by your own logic, you're saying kids cannot go outside in bathing suits anymore and they have to go into pools fully clothed or in private pools. You're taking the narrative too far and you're perceiving everything through a lens of rape. And this is where this is a problem because your perspective runs amok. There were good examples like the 4-year-old having to make her own lunch or like taking away the kid's fucking bed for 7 months or sending the kid to a camp for like 8 months or whatever, or 8 weeks. And there are some disproportionate punishments. There's some really good criticisms here. And then you start to get to this point where it's like any kid on the internet is open to being sexualized, even if they're not wearing sexualized clothing. And now you're just going too far. A kid in a bathing suit isn't sexy at all. There are bathing suits that are too sexualized for children, but you're running it too far, and you have to be careful of looking at everything through a lens of sexualization. Okay, you're obviously not trying to predatorize this kid, but you're having a very terminally online perspective that would lead, if you drew it into the real world, to a child not being able to even go outside or going to a park. Because by your logic, a pedophile could be sitting there and looking at it. There are things that you can and you can't protect your kids from. I don't think that she should be oversharing in the lives of her children. Like, for instance, people knowing where the kids go to school and stuff. Like, that's a huge boundary cross. But, like, you're taking it too far. Like, you're taking it way too far. It's psychotic. You got to chill out a little bit. Okay, you have to stop. You just said that like pictures of kids' feet are a problem. Like, I mean, they could be if they're explicitly taking it for that. But if their feet just happen to be into the frame, that's not sexual. Feet aren't sexual. You're sexualizing feet here. You're sexualizing innocent bathing suits here. It's weird. It's weird behavior. I'm just letting you know. You're not having the right conversation about this topic at all. It's terminal, frankly. In some areas. It was mostly good up until the fucking 29-minute mark.
Unfortunately.
Hard time filling out the bosom of a dress. Also find very mature. I even made her put on a sports bra. I'm like, you gotta put something on underneath this. And Abby found something that shows her belly here.
Something I've noticed personally about Ruby.
Wait, hold on. You just said that she's showing her kids in a sexualized fashion, and then you cut to a clip of her policing her kids, making sure that they weren't even showing their belly buttons. I don't think that you can make...
Very mature.
You please, unfortunately.
Hard time.
Those where your daughters have public social media accounts.
You don't realize you just dunked on yourself instantly, right?
Find very mature. I even made her put on a sports bra. I'm like, you gotta put something on underneath this. And
Too mature dress but shows on the internet? Dude, you're... no, you lost me. No.
Very mature. I even made her put...
So the mom says this is too mature. If you look at this dress, the dress is fine.
Time filling out the bosom of a dress. Also find very mature.
That's not really a mature dress, okay? And the mom, because she thought it was too mature, though, decided to make her put on something underneath it so that she would show less skin. and you're gonna sit here and try to make it seem like the mom's sexualizing your kids. You're going too far. You're going way too far.
I even made her put on a sports bra. I'm like, you gotta put something on underneath this. And Abby,
I just died again. Holy fuck, I'm gonna get tilted.
Something I've noticed personally about Ruby is she's very cognizant of controlling what her children view online. She doesn't let them have a phone. She doesn't want them doing inappropriate dances. And yet what she posts of them online is completely exposed with absolutely no limits.
I agree with
it seems like Ruby is very focused on controlling what her children view and how her children behave, but not as much interested in controlling how they're being exposed publicly on the internet. Recently, another video clip resurfaced where Ruby expressed her distaste at the idea of her eldest daughter moving out and leaving for college because she would not be able to control her anymore.
I just keep
I
saying
doubt she said that.
she's like 12 minutes away. And I work here, so...
I know. For me, it's not the distance or the time. I don't have that stewardship over her the way I have. Now that she's moving out and she's been on her own, I can feel that stewardship, that revelation on her behalf has been, it's like this man.
I think that this is, first of all, the mom's a fucking crazy bitch, but I think that this is a mother coping with the fact that the kid's moving out. This is something that's very normal for parents to not be super happy when their kids move out for some of them, because it shows a phase change. Okay. I don't like the words she used, but like fundamentally, this isn't really a problem. Like a parent saying, "Oh, I don't want her to move out because I'm going to, because I want to be able to protect my kid," is very normal. It's just outside of saying this, it's fucking crazy.
Until of power that I've had on behalf of my child, I can feel it lifting.
Which leads me to the Frank family today, as this statement would come full circle in September of 2022, when Sherry Frank, the eldest daughter of the 8 passengers, opened up about the dangers of Connections, the website Ruby runs to share parenting advice. Through an Instagram story, Sherry said, "I know that there are many rumors circulating online about my family. While it is true that I am not in contact with my immediate family, and I do not support the extreme beliefs of Connections, please remember that this is my real family. Despite good intentions, speculating rumors and gossip doesn't help us. I'd like to ask for privacy for me and my family as we work through this very difficult situation. Please know that many are working on this situation, and I hope one day we can be whole again." So it seems that major trouble is happening within 8 passengers, and
you dunked on yourself again. Listen, this mother's not a great person. I've said it enough times. They're obviously not operating correctly. But this daughter, right, just said that, like, I think that this Connections organization is not good. And their values are too strict and strong, but please don't speculate too hard because this is my family and we're working on this privately, and please give us a little bit of time to settle this privately. And then you said, "Oh, it seems that bad things are happening." Now, it's fine that you don't respect the daughter saying, please, he's setting a boundary, as you do shit on the mother for not setting boundaries, but it's a little ironic. I don't know. Because that part is real. Like, oh, my family's not perfect, but they're still my family, and there are ways where they operate poorly, which is absolutely true. And it's going to be true for everybody. These guys are obviously, I think it has to do with their religious ties, too strict. I agree with that. But now the daughter's like, please give us a little bit of privacy, don't overly speculate. And then you made an entire 40-minute speculative video on it. I'm just saying. All right, there's an irony in saying the mother doesn't respect boundaries while not respecting this daughter's boundaries. Just saying. Okay, that's all I'm saying.
The family has started to completely fracture. Sherry also responded to a woman who had some negative things to say about Ruby and Connections. Sherry liked this post and commented by thanking the woman for her courage. So it's clear that Sherry does not support how her parents have brought her up, or at least the more extreme turn they've taken recently with Connections. Ruby's sisters have also come out publicly to confess that Ruby is no longer on speaking terms with the family. Ruby's sister Julie Drew wrote on her Drew Crew Vlogs channel, "Connections has torn families apart. It is not a good group to be affiliated with, and hopefully one day she will realize it," about her sister Ruby. There have been more concerning rumors surrounding the 8 passengers family. Most have stemmed from the subreddit 8 passengers snark. I feel hesitant to bring these up because I don't want to dive too much into these rumors. First off, because Sherry has spoken out and said that rumors and all this speculation is not helpful. Also, personally, I like to usually just speak on what has been public knowledge and not speculate too much, just for the danger of being wrong. But since these are such strong rumors and possibly very dangerous rumors, I'll just mention them them briefly. Allegedly, at this point, Kevin has forsaken Connections and has moved out and separated from Ruby, while Ruby has gone deeper into Connections and the Moms of Truth Facebook page that she runs. The co-founder of Connections has also allegedly moved in with Ruby as well. And the most concerning allegation is that Ruby still has her youngest 4 children, Abby, Julie, Russell, and Eve, and has supposedly pulled them out of school. She reportedly left them alone while at a Connections conference for 6 days, and CPS has reportedly been involved and called to the homes numerous times. Once again, I want to mention that these are just rumors, but because they are so serious and could mean that especially the youngest 4 children are in a dangerous situation, I did feel it was important to mention them, though I wouldn't usually mention rumors. As people feared, Ruby's brutal helicopter-style parenting only scared away her children. Amid this family drama, Ruby has remained an active member of the Moms of Truth Facebook page, or private Facebook group. I don't know how Facebook works, I haven't been on it in a long time. This group was co-created with Hilda.
Wait, it's a Facebook group? I thought it was like a huge organization.
Group. I don't know how Facebook works, I haven't been on it in a long time. This group was co-created with Hildebrandt after the two spent months uploading content to their Connections YouTube channel. And Ruby has fully embraced this spokeswoman for parenting role, even though her children seemed to distance themselves from her, and her methods clearly didn't work the best on the 8 Passengers YouTube channel. So I don't quite understand who's wanting to trust her as an authority figure, but okay. For Ruby and the rest of the Frank family, the 8 Passengers family channel is long gone, and are simply now, in my opinion, receipts of the trauma that the Frank children had to endure, and evidence.
Maybe. It's possible. Okay. I want to, when we talk about the word trauma, I think that we should talk about it in the correct way, in a way that is intelligent, okay, and correct. In this scenario, it is quite possible that these kids might have a trauma from what's going on, based on what we saw. It's also possible that they don't have a trauma. I know that sounds very basic, but hear me out. A trauma, definitionally, is a deeply distressing or disturbing experience. An experience that I might have may not be traumatic to me, but if you have it, could be traumatic to you, depending on that experience and your relationship with it. The reason I bring this up is because trauma is a mental issue, and when you talk about trauma in a particular way, or you assign the term trauma to a particular action, it can more, and without being a professional, you can create the trauma. I know that sounds so bizarre. It's almost like, I don't know if you've seen these videos, like the babies who like they fall on their butt and they start, and they're fine. They fall and they're fine. They've even fallen on their face, they're fine. But then you say, "Oh, are you okay?" And the babies start crying. You know, sometimes the parents, you see the funny videos where the parent will pretend to hit them, and the baby doesn't know what's going on, and they're like, "Oh, I'm so sorry," and the baby starts crying. I know that sounds weird because I'm comparing it to a child, but we work in a similar scenario like that. You have to be very careful when it comes to these different things, like different traumas in general, of encouraging the existence of a trauma. You don't label everything a trauma. I'm not saying that they didn't have that experience. What I'm saying is don't assign that to every experience, because you could potentially contribute and actually create a trauma. Not everything has to be a traumatic experience. Okay? Just fundamentally something to think about when we talk about these topics. I think is a positive message for people to understand. Okay? So that's all I'm trying to say.
As to why Ruby Frank shouldn't be trusted as an authority figure on parenting. Ruby has announced plans to release a book to help guide those who choose to listen. And now these exact methods that she filmed and posted herself doing on the 8 Passengers channel, she's passing on to other parents to
She's 8 passengering it on.
continue replicating this methodology.
Jody and I are teachers. We are teaching you principles of truth. So if you are here to learn how to resolve your own conflicts in your life using principles, you're in the right place. If you are here to offer feedback that's not based in principle, but that is based in your own history, being politically correct, according to you as you interpret, if this is opinion, this is not the place for you.
And as we come to an end on this video and an end on 8 Passengers, my main takeaway, honestly, is that Ruby's ego was the final downfall of 8 Passengers, and that her ego fully took control of her. And in a desperate attempt to come across as the perfect mom, she showcased on the internet exactly why she isn't one, and may have really caused severe damage to her children.
They would record the kids when the kids didn't want to be on camera. They would remove their kids' beds and make them sleep on the floor as punishment, and even send one of the kids to like a behavioral wilderness camp to make it behave better.
But I think just to focus on Ruby's parenting would be to disregard the larger story and the larger question, which is, do children have a right to consent to being filmed and monetized? Let me know what you think in the comments, and thank you so much for watching this video. Comment down below any other family channels you think I should cover as well. The more and more I look into the issues of family channels, the more heartbreaking it is for me and the more concerned I get. So I definitely think it's an important issue to continue talking about. And I hope you guys are all doing well. And I'm not doing well currently, but I will be resting after this and trying to get well. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye.
Okay.
I want Papa Gut to pee on my face, but just as a friend. There's nothing weird about that. I want him to pee on my face.